During seminary, when I was working as a chaplain at Georgetown Hospital, I regularly called on an elderly woman who was dying, and quite frankly, she was okay about the dying part. What she was not okay about was that she seemed to be moved around the hospital like a piece of furniture. I mean, about every 4 days, she was moved to a new room, and whenever I had to find her, I had to kind of search around. And one day when I found her, I walked into her room, and I found her unusually distressed. She kept repeating over and over, "Where is the cross? Where is the cross?" And she said it, she kept kind of pointing out into the air in front of her, and her lament was deep, and it finally dawned on me that it's a Roman Catholic hospital. So in every room of the hospital, there was a small crucifix on the wall across from the foot of the bed. But in this particular room, the cross had been removed. Where is the cross? And she kept asking me. And here's the most remarkable thing. This dear woman was blind. To this day, I don't know what to make of it. It was sheer mystery. I suspect we could probably pick it apart with some questions. We might try to figure out an answer. Then again, maybe what we say about God is real. And sometimes there is a great mystery in this world. Sometimes we meet people who can see more than what we see with our eyes alone. Which brings me again to today's gospel. It's a remarkable story of healing, and I don't want to take away from that miracle. But I want to focus on a few words and an aspect of this story that kind of just always gets stirred up in me. And that is that as this man's sight is healed, as his eyes and heart are opened, the people around him continue to be blind to what God is doing right there in their midst. I mean, what I mean is, here is this miracle for everyone to see, not just the opening of this man's eyes, but the gift of grace and love to a man who had probably heard all his life that he was cursed. And that was what they believed in that time. Yet did you catch that amidst it all, the thing that's missing, amidst all the questions and suspicion, all the figuring out, not one person ever praises God. Everyone is so focused on figuring it out, they cannot or will not entertain the possibility that God is somehow involved in this. They are so certain of everything about God. Like God did not work on the Sabbath. That anyone born blind had to be a sinner. And above all, that no one could teach them anything they didn't already know. You see, they were so certain about God. Their world was so fixed. They were so set in their ways, so maybe blinded by their religion, that they are unable or unwilling to see God's power happening right before their eyes. So now what of us? I'm going to be honest. As much as I would like to be that blind man, I think I'm the other folks. I'm having a hard time seeing anything more than what I see with my eyes. I'm flooded with images of sickness, terrible statistics, empty streets, closed businesses, lines of people waiting to get help, and the poor and the hungry and the homeless who are being ignored and turned away from help. I want to see more. But I'm feeling a bit blinded, maybe by my fear, my helplessness, my emotions. I want God to touch my eyes, perform a miracle. It will wash away all my doubt. My soul is full of questions. Where is God? Why would God let this happen? Is there any good news in the midst of all the bad? Lord, give us a miracle. I hope it's okay to confess this. I hope I'm not alone. I said this out loud to a friend, and my friend reminded me of the heart of our faith. My friend said, "Russell, remember, God is with us." And you know what? My eyes were opened again. Even more, my heart was opened in a sense. God is with us. It's not a bad mantra. God is with us. God is not beyond us, over us. God is here with us. God is not the cause of all of this, but God is somehow working in the midst of it through people like us. We believe in a God who became one of us to show us that at the heart of God is love, and love will never coerce, force, or predetermine itself. God is with us. My friend helped refocus my eyes and to give me a little bit of grace. I don't have a quick fix or a solution. I do think that as it was for this man in this gospel, gaining our sight sometimes takes time. So let's be gentle with ourselves and our own doubt. As it was for the man in this story, maybe it's okay to take some time for our eyes to adjust at all that we're seeing, not to mention our hearts. It takes time for us to see goodness in the midst of so much bad. Possibly it will take time for our eyes to see the full meaning, the full picture of all that is going on. So while we wait, I'll give you one place to look for God. Look for the cross. I mean, think back to that day. As far as I can tell, very few people who were there were able to see more in this moment of crucifixion, to see anything more than a terrible tragedy and great suffering and even death. Where is your God now? Come down from the cross, they cry out. And yet our faith is forged out of that tragedy, because it reveals to us the beginning of a new story. The depth of God's love for us. It is the love that will not let go. So look for the cross, because that's where you will find God. Look for the cross. Look for where there's an intersection of love and suffering in the stories that you see. Look for the intersection in the flesh and blood of people who are trying to live the best they can. Watch for the fruits of the Spirit like joy, compassion, and kindness. Pay attention to the miracles of generosity, the gifts and sacrifices emerging as people share with what they have, sometimes at the risk of their own lives. Look for the intersection of love and suffering, and there you will find God. And might it even be possible that now, finally, in this moment of darkness, that we might even begin to see a flickering light of revelation, that we might see ourselves as God sees us, one human family, the children of God. For God so loved the world that He gave us Jesus. So may your heart be open to see more clearly with the eyes of grace, to keep watch for where love and suffering intersect, and to not just watch for it, but to work for it. And help a preacher out. If you have a story of where your eyes and heart were open to the presence of God in the last few days, let me know. I mean that. Go to our website, where you will find a box to click entitled, Tell the Bishop a Story When You Caught a Glimpse of God's Presence in the Last Few Days. Leave me a story, and I'll share it with others. And I want to close with a brief video of a few images to help maybe focus your eyes on the amazing grace of God that is right here in our midst. Amen.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. bright shining as the sun.